K-Rock Football, we are lucky enough to be joined by a man who becomes only the 5th Cat and 91st player in VFL, AFL history to play 300 games. Joel Selwood, we really appreciate your time on K-Rock Football. Congratulations.
Thanks, Kingy. Good to be here.
It's an esteemed list. Enright, Nankervis, Newman, Bartel, now Selwood. When you hear those 4 names that come before you to have played 300 games for the club, what does that mean to you?
It makes you feel pretty special, to be honest. It's obviously played big parts with 2 of them, Jimmy and Boris, that were great teammates for so long, and played unbelievable football through that period. So I wasn't old enough or born yet to see enough of what Sam and Ian had done, but their names are still, especially Bobby Gartland, lets us know exactly how special those guys were to the football club. So I understand that it's really special for football club, and just proud that I've been able to do it.
We speak on Wednesday. Have you heard from any of the other 300 gamers? Obviously, Boris, you see on a semi-regular basis around the club when COVID allows you to, and on match day. But Jimmy, Ian and Sam, have you heard from yet?
No, I haven't. Not as of yet, but I'm sure I will. I've got an interview to do with Jimmy tomorrow night, so I'll definitely speak to him beforehand. But it's I'm sure through these periods you hear from a number of people, like, mate, even the guys that I've played one game or not even a game with, but have been listed. It's unbelievable to hear from them, and the impact that, even if it's a small impact, that I've had on them over the journey.
Who's the most random you've heard from? Who's a name that we might not have heard for a while that you've gone, gee, I haven't heard from you in ages, but I'm wrapped you got in touch?
Oh, I had a funny one last night. I'll put it on that scenario anyway. So I had Billy Smets, the famous Billy Smets, and Billy was a bloody good player. And we decided one off season that we would just go and have a few drinks on a Thursday night. But usually after a bit of a drinking session at the Cremorne, I would back it up with a run in the morning. So I said, Bill, I'll meet you Friday morning for a run. And he's like, yeah, I'm in. And as I was leaving, he said to me, make sure you call me for that run in the morning. So 8:30 in the morning, got up, called him, made sure that he'd meet me down at Landy Field, and he never showed up for another run after that. It was just a little short fartlek run, but it was one that I put on a brave face for, and I know that he was absolutely really hurting.
How far did you run? What did the
fartlek?
It
was a 6-7 K. So it wasn't anything that to kill him, but it came close. He never came back.
Yep. When you get to 300 games, what do you reflect on? Is there something that you take time out to look back on over your career? Do you think about game number 1 and how excited you were to pull on the hoops and play for the club you barracked for as a child, or do you look at the premierships? What sort of sits in the front of the mind as you look to 300?
Well, I had a nice moment last night just speaking with Britt and Scott and Morgan. So Britt and I are bunking in with Scott and Morgan at the moment whilst we're building. So and they just asked me a number of questions that probably I haven't been asked before. What games do I remember? Scoot remembers my first game as well as I do, and probably yourself too, Kingy. It was a 8-possession bad game, and ever since then, Kenny Hinkley locked me out of his forward line. So whether he has read that or has he been told that during the week, I was pretty impressed that he knew that. But they also asked me, what were the games that stood out for me, and yeah, there's a few that come to mind.
Yep. Is it fair to say you're a bit of a footy nuffy, that you love football and are consumed by it in season? And I'm guessing, like, if I could say to you who your milestone games are against, you would know, and you'd probably know the games that you've had the most possessions in and games you might have kicked a number of goals in. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I am. I wish I remember my schoolwork like I did my football lifespan, but yeah, I do. And I know stats, not so much stats, but I know the good times with teammates. The parts in games that were really important for the footy club that stand out. So yeah, I live and breathe it. Whether it's because I have a Saturday night when I come home, I stare at the roof and think about it for 4 hours that it sinks in so deep. But um, it is something that I just love dearly.
Yep. You've obviously renowned for the courage you've shown on the field, and that's been obviously reflected in the number of Bob Rose awards you've won through the AFLPA as most courageous player. But have you ever been scared on the football field, Joel? Have you ever had a moment where you go, something's not right here, or you put your body in the wrong place and gone, "Oh, this might not end well"?
No, I can't say that. It's probably now as I go on that I just go. Um, I just don't. You don't want to finish with that injury that will finish you forever, whether it be a foot injury or something simple. Maybe it might be a knee um, but that may come too, and I would be okay with that. So it's I've been so lucky along the journey. It's the injuries that I'm most fearful of are ones that I probably can't control too much of.
Yep. Have you ever looked back at footage of yourself going into a contest, going back with the flight of the footy and gone, gee, did I really do that? And is that really smart?
Yeah, I have. I think that over. I think as I've matured as a footballer. Hopefully, I've made some better decisions. But then there's some times where I've obviously gone and I've made a decision to go that I probably shouldn't have too. So um, as I'm getting older, even now I think about when I'm going back with the flight, am I going to give away a free kick? Because they're getting called more than ever right now that guy going back, if he hasn't got his eyes for the ball the whole way, um, I don't want the other side to get it easy. So I'm backing in Mark Blitzarves to get a spoil away or, Jack Henry to make sure he punches it over the line. So
You get to play game 300 on the night Gary Ablett gets to play game 350. You got to play in 2 premierships with him. But what has it meant to be able to play the last 2.5 years with him and have him come back to the club when you thought that as he departed at the end of 2010 that you'd be going head to head in respective midfields of the Suns and the Cats? And ironically, you're playing the Suns on Saturday.
yeah, I mean, the romance in it is so special. I think that he is coming up against the Suns. The romance is nice that he's doing it for the Cats. But all along too, it was Gary was going to come here to help us out, and he's still got that ability that he's doing that. Um, he's still playing some good footy. He's in some really good touch. He's got hunger, which is really important, and he's one of the best to ever do it. And he can walk the corridors, and it's pretty tough at the moment because the guys aren't seeing enough of each other just with the restrictions and regulations. But I want our kids hanging around Gary Ablett. I want them finding out stuff. We've seen footage of him working with Nathan Kruger and a number of others on the Cats Instagram or social media sites. This is regular stuff that happens if he gets the time. So the one thing that I must say, and we've always had it, and we're lucky that it's sort of been passed down the journey, but the guys that have left the Cats have always wanted the Cats to be in a better place when they've left it. So um, we're just the same. We want to, when we're been and done, we want to come back and make sure we're watching the Cats win.
Yep. Is there a player that you'd love to play one more time with that's now gone or retired, but you look back and go, gee, maybe I just didn't make the most of playing with him and I'd love to do it, just that one more time, have him run out beside me and know he's on the ground?
Uh, oh, I'm going to get myself in trouble. Yeah, the easy way to answer this one is, I would have loved Scoot to be at his healthiest for a longer period at the Cats. The easy one is to date back to, the greats and, pick one of them. But there is so many of them. But yeah, I would have loved Scoot to get he got his opportunity, but he just wasn't as healthy as what he would have loved to be through his time at the Cats.
Yep. Do you think you'll get to play with him again locally one day?
Nah. Sorry to break hearts out there. Probably Newtown's my side, and he's a St Mary's boy at the moment. But it's not something I plan on doing after footy.
Will you play local footy?
Nah, I won't, mate. I just I'm going to spend as much of my gas for the Cats, and basically empty everything that I've got, and that will do me.
All right. Say you're a fuel gauge right now, Joel Selwood. Where
Yeah.
is the fuel gauge in your career?
Well, I'm feeling good. I think I've just put about $60 in, to be honest, and I'm obviously. I think that I can still get better around this group. We just need to play a bit more together. We need to. Hopefully, we can start training a little bit and get this formation and connection, gelling together at the right time of the year. And then, yeah, I still think that I've got a lot of feeling better in my body this year than what I was last year. There was times last year where I reckon Britt had even got the Thursday night, and she probably thought when I was limping to the toilet in the middle of the night, how's he going to do that this weekend? But I'm not doing that at the moment, so I'm feeling better than what I was.
Yeah. You're 32 now. Do you leave it open to when it finishes? You, as you said, you're feeling good now, so you just roll with it, and you talk to the Cats at the end of each year once the next contract finishes, which I think is the end of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and then you just work from there.
Yeah, you do, and open and honest. Like my contracts have never been complicated, Kingy. I think, to be honest, they could probably be wrapped up in a week. Most of the time, you just have to pass it to too many hands along the way. That's why it probably takes so long. So, yeah, it's pretty simple from here. It's if I'm going well enough and I'm still needed, then I'm happy to play along. But yeah, there'll be a time where I'm not needed anymore. So, and I'm okay with that.
Yep. What will you do post footy?
Oh, I love the game. I love the development. I love right down to the juniors, to be honest. Like even I've been a part of Auskick programs for a long time. I think every part of footy, I think I could play a role in, but I'm just not sure where that will start. And I'm not sure where it will start just yet.
Will you captain the Cats till the end?
Not sure. Yeah, well, I don't know when the end is, so I don't think that I need to. I think that we've got leaders around that will be able to do it, and maybe that at the right time, I'll be able to hand it over to one of the boys. But right now, I'm happy to sort of take the load off the boys and just allow them to play footy. I think that I'm helping them by doing that too.
Yep. I won't ask you about the favourite of the three flags because that would be like asking which one is the favourite of your three children if you had three children, Joel. So,
not really. To be honest, the 2011 was my favourite. Just I was old enough to probably understand, what goes in, how lucky you need to be. Also, the business side of it. Probably that one. I mean, we had the coach and our best player leave us, and then the belief within the boys to get it right at the right time. It was pretty special.
Yep. What sticks in the craw more, 2008 or the preliminary final losses since 2011?
Oh, they're all on par, to be honest. Well, I mean, 2008, yeah, up to that stage, I'm not too sure. I would have played 50 games, but I reckon I would have only lost like 5 of them.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely that one was a killer. But then the prelims, we've been in some unbelievable positions that we just haven't finished the job on a number of sides. The Hawks of 13, Tigers of last year, even Sydney. We just didn't play good footy against them. They got out to a lead of a 5-goal lead. And, you
16.
might be able to help me here.
2016.
Yep. And I just thought that, if we could get over that hurdle, then, the week just comes quick and we could just play off.
Yep. As we know, nothing lasts forever, and there's a young man you're going to come up against on Saturday afternoon called Matt Rowell, who, when you debuted, was 5 years old, and he's the talk of the football world right now. In a year that's been so tough, we need these feel-good stories, and I reckon you're more than anybody, and we know you've been on social media reflecting on, I think, his round 2 performance against the West Coast Eagles. Are you excited about the prospect of playing on somebody that's potentially going to be the dominant player in the competition for a decade?
Yeah, I am. I am excited. I just am appreciative of what the kid's been able to do so young, so early. And he's put it back to back. Like I wrote it his first game that was probably his coming out game, which was his second game. But he's backed it up and backed it up. So there's a part of me that just goes, respect that he's young and that he's the up and comer. But we're gonna, really put it to him this weekend and treat him. We're going to treat the Suns like they're a 3-1 side, not the Gold Coast Suns of, yesteryear, where it was probably we'd look at it and go, geez, this might be a bit easier this week. Like they are seriously good, and he's the leader of it.
I know it was only the March series, but they did a number on you back in February. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, I'll quickly remind the boys of that throughout this week. We'd get together tomorrow, but I mean, there's been no surprise with what they've been able to do off the back of that form too.
Well, Joel, I promised before we spoke that we'd get through the interview without mentioning that you dropped a naughty word. Oh, hang on, no, I've mentioned it.
Oh, there we go.
After your second game and you come on Krock footy, and you were pretty up and about, and probably just slightly forgot where you were for a moment.
Yeah, I did. It was a pretty special moment. The team with Kev Dickerson, he's put me on Krock to look after me, and you guys were going to, Benny was going to ask me some simple questions, and but then I just thought I'd take it over, and I thought I'd have to, take it my own path. So thanks for bringing that back up, Kingy. I've gone 14 years, and I think I've heard it every year since.
Joel, you've been an absolute gem to deal with, and you've been an ornament to the Geelong Football Club. And Cam Mooney's talked about in the paper this week about statues outside Kardinia Park. You wouldn't be lost if we cast you in bronze. I don't know what would the pose be. Would they have to put some bandage around the forehead to make it authentic?
Oh, I think we should just save the money and put it into a new stand, and not that I want the stand named after me, just maybe a seat that I can sit on and enjoy the Cats for years to come.
Seat number 14?
Yeah, that will do.
Fantastic. Joel, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us on Krock Football, and we wish you the very best of luck against the Gold Coast Suns in game 300.
Thanks, Kingy. I look forward to joining you after the game and the Cats having a win.